Hello and welcome to the review of the GI Max Matrix Indicator, Gear Indicator with me, Kevin Sawyer. Hope you guys and girls are all well and enjoying your day, and my thoughts and prayers go out to you if you are in isolation for the COVID-19. A lot of people are in the same boat as you. I was in the same boat. I've got to go back to work because my work is deemed essential. I don't necessarily agree with that statement, but hey ho, it is what it is. But I hope you guys are all girls and are all staying safe, stay in, maintain social distancing, and just don't risk it for a chocolate biscuit unless you have to go out. Then go out, get your necessities, which is food and everything. But anyway, I'm blabbing on. I'll leave that for another video. But anyway, you're here to look at this, which is the GI Max Gear Indicator. For you guys and girls that don't know what this is a gear indicator for any simulator game which has a data telemetry involved in it. There's quite a few games which will support. The software which you may need, which we will need, is called Symprojects. We'll leave links down below in the description down below for both this and the software itself. You can find it all on the same site. The price for this at the moment is £29. It's a shame because when I bought this was £20. It literally just went up after I bought it. It's about 47 by 47 millimeters, or it says millimeters on the let me just quickly check the description on the website. It says 47 by 47 millimeters, which that makes sense to me. Squared, let's say it's roughly about roughly about 30 millimeters, I guess, depth. As you can see on the back, it's quite simple. I'd say this has been 3D printed. I'm tempted to give this to my brother and see if he can reverse engineer this. And I'll go into details why I'd like him to do that in the future. Later on in the video anyway. But it's been 3D printed. As you can see, this is obviously a little capsule on the back, but it's got a micro USB spot. I don't know if you can see that on the back, or port on the back. The leads are sold separately. You don't necessarily have to buy one with it. If you've got one that will work with it, go ahead. I think it's micro USB type C, don't quote me on that. But if you've got one already, you're just good to go. Just buy it, wait till it turns up. On the front, as you can see, it's got a LED display, and you'll see that in it looks like it's been screwed on with some Torx bits, I'd say, on each side, which probably would come to bits quite easily. I'm not going to take this to the bits, purely because that's not the video for this. I'm just demonstrating for you guys what this thing looks like and what it's capable of doing. Once you do buy it, and once you do receive it and unpack it, it's from the UK, so don't worry, it's not from China or anything. It is from the UK. If that concerns you with COVID and everything, then you just have to hold off and wait until everything else. But once you do receive it, all you need to do, plug one end to your computer via USB, and the other end, as long as I've got this the right way around, which is that way, like that, and it's plugged in. I'll dollop it delicately on top of my Sim Dash. I've already made a start on doing some bits for the upgrade for the Sim Dash. I just need to get my hands on some timber and we're good to go. But once you plug it in, as you can see, nothing's happened. You heard it go boop boop, and nothing's happened. And you might be thinking, whoa, what's going on here? I'll get into that in just a sec, so bear with a second. Okay guys, welcome back. As you can see, we're back on my desktop and I've got my small webcam pointed nicely towards the unit, and you've plugged it in. You've got that happening. Now, you've had the boot from Windows or whatever your OS is, and nothing's happening. Like I said, this is where you need to, if you haven't done that already, you now need to download and install Symprojects. Again, I will leave links down below for you to do so. Do download the latest one if you haven't done already. If you've got a slightly older version, it may work, so try it before you buy it. But plug it in. If nothing's happening, just make sure your SimDash is running, because look, as soon as I've running SimDash, it's there. And Bob's your uncle. And in order to configure this, all you need to do, you'll see it's greenly highlighted, highlighted there, and it's connected. And all you need to configure it is by clicking on it, the configuration settings. Now you can manually configure it. You can have both lights on and lights off. So it will start flashing once it's below a certain RPM, and start flashing once above a certain RPM. I personally didn't like that. So I go for that setting. Yeah, so shift light exceeds when RPM for so many seconds. There's like a percentage range there, and then you can have it. Shift light turns off after a certain gear. So you can have the shift light. Say you're running a 6 to 9 speed gearbox in your car. Unlikely if it's going to be a 9 speed, but at least, well, I'd say at least a 6 to 7 speed gearbox. 6 speed being most typical, but you don't want it flashing once you get to the red line of 6 gear, do you? If you're getting towards the top end speed, it's going to be hard to get there, but if you're getting to that sort of speed and you're in the top gear, you don't want necessarily telling the gear light to tell you to shift up anymore. So that's when you'd engage that. You can actually get to read in game to actually state when the gear light shifts. As you can see there in the description, that it might not be supported in all games. So I just suggest try it, tick it, try it, see what happens. If it doesn't work, then you know it's not going to work for your sim project, for your game. Sorry, I should say. If it does work, then you know you're good to go, and everything will be automatically self-calibrated. Once you do select that, it deselects all these here, so bear that in mind. It won't run both, it'll only run or t'other. So select, because I typically use mine for American truck or Euro truck. That's where I'm typically going to manually configure it. There's one bugbear which I hope the developers make this are listening, which I hope you guys and girls as developers improve upon in the future for both software and hardware. Is it's limited to 9 gears only. 9 gears only. You can't exceed double figures. But I'm going to go into detail why I find that a bit disappointing in the good and bad later. Anyway, another thing with this, you can adjust the brightness. If I can adjust the brightness from here, that's its lowest setting, which is still fairly bright. Okay, I've got backlight on there, and again, if you do a lot of what I deem night racing, you might want to have that at lower setting. I have it roughly about there. That's a bit too much, but your mileage might vary. If I try and put it to roughly about 50%, you see how bright it's getting there, and then 100%. That, you know, again, you can't really justify how bright this is in my backlight. If I try and sort of cover my camera up, or cover the unit up itself, my hand gets in the way, and I'd have to sort of like. That's probably the better idea. Hang on, that'll give you a better idea. So I'm leaning on my mic, so that gives you a better idea of how bright it is. Seriously bright. I've been running it roughly 20-30%. I'm pretty happy with 30%. You can see what's going on at 30%, trust me, or 33%. Once you're happy with your settings, just click OK, and you're good to go. Launch your simulator, whatever simulator you're running, and it should work. I will see you in the game itself, and you can see what how it runs when you're actually running it. I'll see you then. Okay guys and girls, welcome back. As you can see, I'm in American Truck Simulator, and I've got both my Sim Dash running, and I've got the GI Max indicator working as well, the matrix indicator. Anyway, as you can see, it's in neutral at the moment, and I'm in the truck. Let's jump in the truck. As you can see, once I turn the ignition to on,
drive safe.
I've got the latest beta on American Truck Simulator, and I've got some good sounds running with it. I'll fire the engine up so you can hear it ticking over. Right, let me push the clutch in. I'm not going to drive about with this because I'm just going to demonstrate what the gears do for you guys and girls, and try and keep this short and sweet as I can. Right, so if I go into what's low, if you can see over there, it registers it as first, and then you've got low-high, which is second, which is now what I deem first in a 18 speed, because I deem low and low high as two crawler gears. Really, that's what I deem them as. You'd only use them if you've got extremely heavily load and you're in the or if you're just doing yards or shunting work. This is first or L1, as you can see on the game, but it's fourth or third and fourth on the Sim Dash or the Matrix. Fifth is second, and so far. Now look, see, when I get to what is 4 low, it's ninth. Put it to 5 high or 4 high, it's now what GI Max indicator deems as beyond its limits, because this can only read up to 9 gears. Anything above that, it goes nuts. And this is what I was saying earlier about the fact that I hope in future models of this and in the software they update it so that this can be daisy chained to a secondary unit for us truck simulator drivers, so then it at least show it in double digits. Might not necessarily mean what, you know, an ideal configuration would be it saying 1 high, 1 low, and then you'd need probably at least three of them. That's probably a bit too much. I'd be perfectly happy with just so then you can have 2. Then it gives also not the mic, because you've got a understanding once you get into the higher range of the gears. But anyway, I digress. If I put it into gear, actually I don't even necessarily need it in gear. If I bring it up to 2000 RPM, see it flashes? That's obviously a shift up indicator. I have it roughly there because that's where I'm happy with it. I tried it around about 1800 and I didn't like it there because it was just bothering me. I typically start shifting around about 2000, well, between 2800 anyway, so 1800 downwards. That's where I typically shift if I can. But even if you've got it in beyond limits, it still works as a gear indicator. As you can see, when it starts flashing, it's time to shift. It still works in the lower range, as you can see. It does have that momentary pause where it goes between. If you're slow and shifting, if you do it quickly, you might not necessarily notice it, but if you're trying to float, you see it goes like that. Again, that's not a big concern to me, and it may not be a big concern to you. I'm going to shut the engine off just so I can talk to you guys and not waste diesel. But good, the bad, the ugly of this. If you're a sim racer and only do sim racing, then go out, buy it. By all means, go ahead, buy it. If you're a sim trucker like myself, then I don't necessarily think at this stage is really worth your time, unless of course you run on just any gearboxes that only go up to 9 speed. If you run on gearboxes that exceed that, like an 18 speed or anything at plus 10 speed, then you're going to have the same problems I have. If you don't really mind that, if you just want it as an effective thing, maybe just for the gears indicator, or just so then again just adds a bit more immersion to your game, then by all means please feel free to buy it. It's your call. Your mileage may vary. I'm not going to hold a gun against your head either way. That's just my honest opinion for what it's worth. But I hope you guys and girls enjoyed the review. If you did, please feel free to give it a like. If you didn't like it for any reason at all, please feel free to dislike. Leave comments down below either way, so then I'm aware of what I'm doing and how I can improve in the future. And if you know anyone else that may also enjoy watching this or might find this useful in any way, again guys and girls, please feel free to share. It helps me out a lot and I don't mind you sharing. And if you're new to my channel and you will see future episodes or future reviews or future whatever I'm working on in future, again guys and girls, please feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell, so then you're aware as soon as I upload a new video. I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta for now.